sure I understand it, but everything seems brighter now than before. I don't know why I feel this way, but every time I hear your name, all my worries disappear, yeah. It's all because of you. I feel the way I do. You make my dreams come true, yeah. It's all because of you, because of you. And I don't fall in love so easily, 'cause I don't wear my heart up on my sleeve. Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same, but every time I hear your name, my worries disappear. It's all because of you, yeah. I feel the way.
Good morning, people. Y'all know the voice, y'all know the sound. It's your boy James Noble Williams, DJ Exclusive, is in the building. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got Like It or Not starting up next with Rebecca Zor. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. Melanie Dennis, good morning. Amber Layla, Kareem, Tyler, No Human Humanist, Kevin Elder in Singapore. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Roller Dragon, good morning to you, Roller. Shout out to the Benjamin Dixon Show in the chat room. We don't know if it's Ben. We don't know if it's David. It's a mystery guest. Ooh.
I could really use a change of scenery.
Good morning, y'all. Alice Jones, good morning to you.
Greenery. Yeah. Close the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know.
Hollywood, good morning.
I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Close to make the man, but that poison's gonna chew you.
Benjamin Parnell, Purcell, Caramel. Benjamin Dixon is in the chat room, y'all. Good morning, Brother Ben.
Say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time.
Creative Impact, good morning to you. Jessica Mary, good morning.
I'm free. Can't nobody
Tiger, what's going on, Tiger? Good morning.
here and now.
Carly Wynn, good morning, Carly. Laverne, good morning, Mama and Daddy. Love you. Big Zeta, good morning to you. What's going on, Cam?
Cheers to all the haters, 'cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny.
Good morning,
You
Lewis.
can
Good
see
morning
what's
to you.
behind me, but I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Close to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you. From the inside out, it's time to say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free.
Chewy Crab, good morning, Chewy. Baby, good morning. Long time no see for real. Good to see you. Good morning
It's
to
my
you.
time to run it out. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody
Juanita. Good morning, Juanita.
It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it out. It's your time. Oh, if you're on the bus, say yeah. Yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah. Yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah. Yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or old, I really don't care. Yeah. Life has never really been fair. Yeah. So put your fist up in the air. Yeah. Say yeah. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take
Baby, I understand that, baby. Understand now.
It's my time to ride.
Hey, man. So check this out. Let me talk to y'all for a second. Look, I'm not saying I'm attractive, but when I take my clothes off in the bathroom, I turn the shower on. What's up? Let's go. Good morning again, everybody. Make sure that you stay tuned, like it or not, to start up next. Good morning, everybody.
My money right now.
Shout out to Benjamin Dixon in the chat room. Just another man.
Stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. But don't waste my energy, my energy. I don't got much, don't be wasting all my energy. I keep it tight, don't let nobody get close to me. My heart is right, don't question my integrity. No, I thought we would be just fine. I thought your heart was like mine, but let me find out. You've been going around throwing shots, running plots. Come on, man, tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true, true.
Chewy Crab, it will be next week, the next picture party, next weekend, next Friday. You don't want to miss it. Oh, an update to all of my job. I did like Beyonce said, and I released my job yesterday. So I left the job at the chemical factory. Yep, I was working at the chemical factory. It was a toxic workplace.
I let you in back then because I couldn't see, but now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition
Edith, good morning to you, Edith.
Handle your business, do what you think you need to do to get your revenge, but you won't break me.
Cam, not yet. Cam, send it to me, please, Cam, because I forgot it already. Trying to block my blessings. Okay, I think I remember it. Let me see. Hold on, let me get this right. Jules, good morning to you, Jules. I'ma go through. I remember it, Cam. Okay, y'all. This is from the mind of Cam. Why don't they make bread and pickles in the same factory? Why don't they make bread and pickles in the same factory? Because they didn't want to end up with dildo. I'm gonna recoup. Don't waste my. I'm going to hell. More so, y'all going to hell with me for sending me this stuff, okay? Y'all make sure y'all stick tuned. Rebecca Azor is in the building. Like it or not, will be going down momentarily.
Okay, sorry is a sorry does. She just wanna cut up in the car, told her start it up. I don't wanna see it from your eyes unless it's Cartier. Ran into my old chick, she said you ain't playing fair, playing fair, playing fair. No, I ain't playing fair, playing fair, playing fair.
We
no,
know,
I
Ben.
ain't playing
You know
fair.
you missed
Asked her why she staying there, she said she don't know. I had to ask some more, but I really had to go and get my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she missing good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my pop on, yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah,
she said with my high sauce, she ain't with no knockoff. See them, we gon' pop off. Uber getting dropped off, kicking in the door, we ain't knock on it. Ice on your beat, and you know it got the bop to it. Running up the streams like the stock market. They ain't with no beat, tell them stop talking. Rock a goatee like I'm Hulk Hogan. Put on R&B, then I hit her with the slow stroking. Ooh. Then I told her she could hop on it, pop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah. Double B's on me, yeah. Double C's on the dough. Double D's dunking, no. Going nuts for the flow. Tank on E, F it, bro. I'm a G, let him know. Who is he? ISO. Who is he? ISO. Pop on, yeah, I get my bop on. If she wanna give me neck, gotta keep the top on. But she got the top off while I got topped off. She was taking too long, now I'm finna nod off. So I get my bop on, yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. Balenci's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my pop on, yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top
Road Runner, good morning to you. This is ISO Indies, Road Runner, ISO Indies.
Socks on, yeah.
We're going to give Ben one more since Ben has been out for so long. I joined the gym yesterday, and I said to the trainer, I want to impress beautiful girls. Which machine should I use? This sucker told me, try the ATM outside. Go hell. Creative impact every time. All right, y'all. The queen is in the building. Hate to cut short the earth to light it up and all that other good stuff, man. But y'all know what time it is. It's time for this show to get started. Good morning, everybody. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting now.
Hey, man. Yeah, it's the summertime, right? Let's get it like or not. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. Yeah. Like it or not, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going down.
Rebecca Zora's in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture, a real life is. I live in life in the ATL. Benjamin, yeah, that's my man. She's always coming up with the master plan. Politics, dreaming, trying to find the meaning of life. While the feds keeps us in stride.
I am your DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. I stay dropping them jams.
Good hope, dad jokes, culture, it's politics. What's here right now is the culmination of all of this. I started out with the mic in my hand, and I ended up with the plethora of fans. I love bringing joy to the people. It makes me feel great, makes me feel regal. I do what I do for you. Tuesday to Thursday, you know how we do. Let's go. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going down.
Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going. Like it or not, it's going, it's going. Hey man, let's start this damn show.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. It's so much table on my screen. So let me tilt it up a tad.
Looking like a little extra table-y this morning.
It's giving me a lot of table there. But hi, good morning, and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it.
It's crazy. It's been since 2017. It always says "Like It or Not" with Benjamin Dixon, and since that time, I was sitting right next to him. Right next to him. And if you can see on today and the last few shows,
Oh,
he ain't been here. So miss him. My name was never in the marquee where it was supposed to be. Never in the introduction where it was supposed to be.
You must know he in the chat or something. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know he's in the chat.
He's in the chat, and that's why I'm like, you going in, and he's in the chat. This is amazing.
Yeah. So Mr. Name was never in the marquee. Name was never in the introduction. Always told me, he promised me that it would be, and it never was there. And so shout out to Ben, though. Miss you. Wish you were here. And for all of you guys who didn't know, our celebrity guest was your one and only person's name that was in the marquee and had his name dropped in the intro in his whole channel. It was him that we were bringing to you on today. But I understand things happen. So hopefully everything is going great for you. I know you're still settling in and getting your mind right and still doing work at the same time by making sure you really get the stories out. Take the, what do they call, the wolves in sheep's clothing, put them on the highlight. And we know those are the evil, how he calls them, jellicles. So if you haven't seen the latest in Ben's rants, but actually really educated like he does on the show, really tearing apart those people, those pastors, those white Christian leaders, or people who teach those types of things in their church, teach hate. You can definitely go on his page on Instagram, because he be on the gram doing reels, y'all. Go on his Instagram or go on his Twitter, and you guys can catch up with what he's doing there.
Yeah, it was a good one too. He did a pretty good one when he broke it down, but with the black church pastors talking about Beyonce and them not having enough money to y'all can't pay me or buy me a watch. I'm like, damn, that's how these pastors doing it. This is why I don't go to church now.
And I'll say this: the funny thing is, Ben is still a church man in all of this, because but it's funny. It's not. It's exactly what I am too. It's kind of like the breakdown of the Church Girl song by Beyonce in a way. But I understand people who are older heads who feel like those songs should be protected. I get that. Just like some of us that we don't like. We don't like when people do remixes of our favorites and things like that. Right. Don't touch this music. So I get that. We all have our feels about that. However, what the church is teaching, and they're what in these days, and I can't say it's a general thing, because there are churches who are doing right? But the ones that we do have to highlight, because they're spewing out hate or things that don't make sense, and it's not giving Christianity in their church. Those are the ones that we have to highlight. But in the same sense, it almost makes it seem like, for some people who don't know the Lord, that's it. That's all. But be mindful. Ben is in the church, but he goes somewhere where what they say, we being fed. But he'll call out a pastor any day if you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. And he's a former man of the pew.
Man of the cloth.
Man of the cloth. I don't like man of the cloth. Remember when y'all talked about it the first time? I said, I don't like that. It sounds KKK-ish. Man of the cloth gives me somebody with the hood, the cone hood head situation. Man of the cloth is KLOTA. It don't give me what it's supposed to give. So yes, he's a man of the pew.
I like that.
Yes, amen. So before we get to these stories, because I know that we have a jam-packed morning, and I apologize for coming in late. I didn't know, and I know this is y'all family. I did not know that my messages weren't going through text or my internet. I'm like, what's going on? Then I changed my debit card because there was some fraud. So the bill didn't go through. The bill didn't go through. And also, since you guys are family and we're here, Ben knows. Well, Ben doesn't know. But Ben and I had needed some help, because I need some more money. I need some, I need more income, because I'm swimming in a lot of what we're dealing with as far as what they don't want to talk about, which is inflation and a recession and
Girl, they
trying to get
backstroke through
through it.
that shit.
It's tough, guys. It's really, really tough. I'm not gonna hold you. And it's been hard. You would think somebody with my background, master's degree, so much qualifications would be able to find a job. And as you guys know, before my focus was finding a job, a work from home job. Now I'm looking for a job that pays me at least up to, because I deserve 6 figures, a little under, and anything over. And so I was looking for something for that. I thought I found it, guys. It was a great opportunity, great job. They had me go through 4 interviews.
And you didn't get it?
Listen to me. 4 interviews. They had me take 4 hours out of my day for a mock day of work. And this morning I did get the news that I didn't get the job. So,
oh, Becca.
Yeah, it's okay though. I'm not heartbroken about it. It's one of those things that actually I feel like I was created for this moment because I have been building up my emotional health through these last few months. I've been doing a really good job with that. So I think it didn't hurt me because rejection tends to hurt me in a way, but in this particular time, I'm like, I did my best. I even sent it to Ben. Ben was like, damn, this is good, Rebecca, because he helped me out. He's like, okay, this is good. Whatever the case may be. He's like, it's believable. Shoot. And if Ben, to me, who's a teacher, had said that to me, I agree. And I sent it to everybody else, and they said the same thing. So I did what I could do. And I just don't think that they were willing to pay me what they could. So, and it's okay. I understand. And big ups to those people. Your loss, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I got to move forward. But with that being said, if you are watching the show right now, if your eyes are on this screen and you guys are seeing the big heads right now, mine and Bubba's, I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe, right? Even the ones who are patrons already. Thank you so much for that. Like, share, and subscribe. If you can't become a patron, we understand you might be struggling like each and every one of us in this moment. Liking it, sharing it, subscribing to our channel, and our other avenues on social media, Twitter, Like It or Not Show, and as well as on Instagram, Like It or Not Show. Of course, we got to do some posting on those pieces, but we really appreciate you, and just to keep on pushing the show, because of you we are. And this is how this summer we're still building our platform. Even though we've been here for a while, we're still building our platform. We're still trying to get where we need to get, where this can be our only source of income. So if you are watching, if you would like to continue to give, you can. We can accept things through Cash App at Becca's Voice and DJ X3C. We appreciate you, love you guys, mean it. And if you can't give, you can always like, share, and subscribe. Continue to spread the word where we are, what we're doing. And for those of you who are already doing it, I love you so much and mean it.
Amen.
If you want to become a Patreon, just patreon.com/like it or not, patreon.com/like it or not. Okay.
Yeah, you remember the old Like It or Not? Like It or Not, it's going down. I forgot about that one.
That was just yesterday, but we've been doing we've been here since June. So June, July, August. It's just like August got somewhere to be.
Like, damn, like it's over next week. Like, for real? Like, what a month went.
I don't know. Because I don't know. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. But these stories are even crazier, y'all. Yesterday, right here locally in Atlanta. Okay. It was a triple shooting, and it shut down the Midtown area of Atlanta.
Lord Jesus.
Investigators say a woman is suspected of killing 2 people and injuring a third at 2 separate locations in Midtown yesterday afternoon, which was Monday. At this point in time, evidence points to the woman, who is a Black woman, the woman hunting down specifically targeted victims. The shootings essentially locked down the Midtown neighborhood in the heart of Atlanta for a couple of hours. The name of the woman arrested or how she is connected has been actually released, and I want to because I know that we wrote this yesterday, and I'll get her name for you guys, but
I'm grabbing it for you right now,
her name
Rebecca.
has been released, and the people who were killed: Wesley Freeman, 41 of Atlanta, and Michael Shiners, 60 of Alpharetta, were both killed in the shooting. And the woman who police say shot the three people was arrested at the Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport after someone posted her getting arrested on social media. That's when everybody was alerted that she was caught. And that was less than 2 hours after the last shot was fired. Here is an explanation of the shootings around 1:46 p.m. Atlanta 911 received the call reporting the shooting at 1280 West Peachtree Street on the corner of 16th Street. Officers arrived at the 40-story condo building to find two people shot. Police say one person was dead and another was rushed to an area hospital. Around 2 p.m., a 911 call was placed again, reporting another shooting. This time it was at 1100 Peachtree Street. Officers arrived at the 1100 Peachtree Street Executive Building to find one person injured in an apparent gunfire, and the victim was also rushed to the area hospital. The lookout for both of the shooters, we found out quickly, was the same person. It was a female that was matching the same description that was seen in this area. That triggered an immediate response from this department, which is APD, and it was indicative of a possible active shooter situation. Police quickly received tips from citizens who told them the suspect had entered the Colony Square campus. The search eventually led to the police to the airport, the Atlanta Jackson Airport, Hartsfield Jackson Airport. And a short time later, around 4 o'clock, that's when they were able to take her into custody. She did post initially to her LinkedIn talking about her job that she was working at, or her previous job she was working at, where she uncovered fraud. And she also talked about how after uncovering fraud in this corporate, she works in IT at this corporate area that does auditing and different things. They came into her home because they had connections with the building that she lived in. And they allegedly came into her home and broke into the safe, took the information on the hard drive that would explain and show the fraud against her corporation, the heads at her corporation. She reported this to APD on the same LinkedIn page of hers. She posted that videos, three different videos from the same time frame of her going to the police department and asking why they haven't done anything for the burglary that happened in her home. And it looks like because they were not paying attention to her, they just told her she had to wait until the burglary investigation unit had spoken with her. And to give her more information, she stated that from there on, they weren't helping. So she would wait, but I don't think she really waited that long, clearly, because she took matters into her own hand. Her name was Raisa Kengney. And a lot of people, I don't like the way that people are framing it online, where it's like, okay, it's a Black woman. Okay. Yeah, it's a Black woman. But people are saying she's not a Black American woman, though. She is an immigrant woman, which is not one of us. You guys, it's a real popular conversation online. I think it's weird energy.
Terrible.
I don't know why they come up with that. Right now, we are talking about someone who clearly did that. She went and shot these people, but may have been a victim of, abuse at her job in some way, shape, or form.
And spilled over into her apartment, like her home life.
And feared for her life. And then mental health is very much a big thing. She was screaming this on social media. She was screaming this to APD. And it almost seemed like in those videos that they weren't listening to her. However, what she did was, I would say was wrong. She did take matters into her own hand, but we don't know the gist of the story just yet. There are a lot of things that they are picking up, they're putting together, and the story is still developing. But this happened right here in Atlanta yesterday. I would love to know what you guys are thinking. What did you get from the story yesterday, Bubba?
It was a lot, especially just watching everything unfold live as it was going on.
Since you really didn't know a lot of information. So finally, when everything came out, it was just later in the evening when I saw everything.
Yeah.
But it just seems like this was someone that she was on the last leg. And there was the person that sent me the article finally with her name in it, and her LinkedIn page had the last video she posted, which was talking about the retaliation against police department or whatever the last post was. So it was a lot, especially just seeing everything and just knowing that I just hate that for the sister. It's just like the buttons were pressed and she just.
Somebody stated how, and I can agree with this, in spaces where I'm working. It could be in the journalism space, it's been in the corporate space. It's almost like you, as a Black woman, especially, like, I mean, Black people are not listened to, period, in these spaces.
Yeah.
But as a Black woman, you can say something more than once, and it's almost like you aren't heard. I don't care if you're an immigrant Black person, whatever. She was doing a job in America. She was an American citizen. And, so forget the focus off of her being an immigrant. She worked as an IT person for a huge company. I think it was like 6th in its lane for accounting or something like that, in corporate accounting or something like in that way. So it's a big corporation that she did work for, and she had a high position in IT. But no matter your position, no matter where you stand, you got to do more than just call them out. Let them know that what they're doing was fraud and you want no parts of it. Quit. She created her own firm. She said that she wanted to work with people with. She took it to the police department. They broke into her house and she recorded her interaction after the fact when APD didn't do anything. She went there, asked for, information. And she was clearly just tired at that point. And she ended up taking it into her own hands. Mentally, you can tell she was breaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she kept basically saying, no one's listening to me. Like, no one's hearing me out. And the people at the job and the people that are supposed to protect me, you guys aren't hearing what I'm saying. My safe was broken into. They said there was no forced entry. The police, the woman and the police officer in the video, the sheriff, said there was no forced entry. And they said because this person had a relationship with where I live, had access, and end up getting a key to go into my house. That's why there is no forced entry, but it does not make it any less burglary.
Exactly.
In my home.
And Rebecca, it's almost one of those things where she did this to get attention, to bring attention to it, because now there's a lot of attention on what she did and the reason why she did it. Especially the 2 victims were defendants named in the lawsuit as well too.
Yeah.
So it's almost like she did this to try to bring attention to what's going on, especially when she reported the fraud from the job. So it's just like so much behind this story. I'm just interested to see what the rest of it is going to bring out.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely, it's far from over. Definitely far from over.
It's sad as well, but it's definitely far from over. It's going to bring up a few different conversations, as you know, it has been online. I asked that people step away from the whole she's not an American freedman or whatever BS. It's ridiculous. Please move away from that conversation.
Right.
It's crazy. But we have some updates as well for, I know through this whole week, it's been a lot for Breonna Taylor, not even this whole week, these last 2 weeks. And I know for Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and their killers. But let's start with no lawyers want to represent Ahmaud Arbery's killers, which is not surprising. I mean, as these people were, those murderers deserve nothing. But what they call due process, somebody got to represent them, right?
Right.
The planned appeal of 3 men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery is stuck on pause as 2 of the 3 wait for lawyers to represent them. Georgia officials are citing a lack of funds that's putting a wrench in the effort to appoint appellate lawyers. A status hearing Wednesday, before this was last Wednesday, before the judge that oversaw their state murder trial revealed that Greg McMichael and Roddy Bryan still do not have lawyers to handle their appeals. All three were declared indignant, meaning they will have a lawyer appointed to represent them. Typically, appointed lawyers are public defenders, but an official with the Georgia Public Defender Council said they are representing Travis McMichael only because doing otherwise would pose a conflict of interest. GPDC attorney Kenneth Shepard said that GPDC chose to represent Travis McMichael because he is a defendant among the three who had possibly the most evidence against him and be the most difficult on appeal. Shepard stated that appointing private attorneys for the other two defendants is the job of his boss, Deputy Director Catherine Mason. The three men were also recently convicted in a separate federal trial for hate crimes. They have not yet filed an appeal in that case. The McMichaels received life sentences in both cases. Bryan received life with no possibility of parole in the state murder case and 35 years in prison in the federal hate crimes case. As a reminder, Arbery, 25, was murdered by the three men in February of 2020 after they chased him through the Satilla Shores neighborhood in Brunswick, Georgia.
Yeah, that was a lot. And I'm glad they finally got something out of this case. You know, I mean, we all saw the guilty verdicts come down. So, yeah, I'm surprised that nobody would represent them in Georgia. Now they see what black people go through all the time, especially black men.
Yeah. I think that in these cases, they've been protected. This has been since 2020. So
Yeah.
they've been protected. We've seen them walk free for a minute, being able to go home to their family, sleep, and finally getting arrested at some point. This was just, what was it? It was in 2022 in February. And I think it was right before, no, after George Floyd. Am I right? It was like right after George Floyd. So we were experiencing all of this one by one. And we were watching
so
people walk
much.
free. And after shooting down Black people at the height of a pandemic. And we didn't know what to feel, what to expect. And actually, no, it happened. Did it happen before George Floyd or after? I think we found out after.
It happened before because this was in February.
Found out after.
Yeah, and I think we found out after, and then shortly after that, I think in March or April,
we found out about Breonna
was George
Taylor.
Floyd. Yeah, it was Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Then, 2020 was really a lot.
They kept those two under wraps. George Floyd happened, and then we started those. Hey, this news. This person was shot down by police, or this person was shot down in their community, and nothing has happened. When we found out about Ahmaud, it was super sad because we found out after the fact, only because it was trending and there was no justice. Those people that shot him down were still going through the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, and see, I found out local news. So I remember when it came out, and they were saying that locals shot a Black man for attempted burglary in the neighborhood. Of course, that's how it was presented. So when it first came out here, I heard about it locally. So then once it started gaining more attention, especially when it started trending on the social media sites, that's when it was just like, oh, y'all ran down this Black man that was just jogging through the neighborhood. Y'all killed this man in cold blood.
And
so that's when the story came out, and it was like months after that. Like, it was like, wait a minute, y'all made it seem like this man was going through and stealing stuff out of people's houses. These houses weren't even completed yet. What the hell was he stealing?
Yep. And what's interesting is, as we watched the trial unfold, as we watched so much happen during the trial, how they didn't want certain presence in the room, Black religious leaders in the room. I know Ben had went to the area and even witnessed himself how the trial was unfolding. And so we watch how they tried to label him as somebody who had dirty fingernails.
Yep.
We watch how they tried to label him as somebody who was a threat because he was black and, he wasn't like childlike as they wanted to. As we knew he was in his early 20s, like he was a child and in some way, shape, and form that you guys took away from his parents. While these grown men who weren't police officers took on the role to serve and protect their community. And they were wrong. But we watched all that. We sat through all that. So I can sit through watching these men not get help. I can sit through them being accused of hate crimes.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit through their lives being taken away from them. I can. They got to sleep with their families while just down the street, Ahmaud's family was fighting for justice, fighting for the word to get out. And that's what Georgia didn't want. For especially after George Floyd, for us to find out just months before, you guys were trying to keep this story under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am happy that we are where we are. Of course, again, there is due process. So it does require for representation and things like that. But here they're saying because they don't want conflict of interest, that's why a certain representation can't represent the others. And so we'll see how this will play out, but they don't deserve. And I hope that they continue to have their lives stripped away from them in this manner.
Yep.
That slow burn.
Slow burn, right. We're right, Rebecca.
So yeah, here we are. And speaking of Breonna Taylor, let me go forward. I apologize, y'all. Sorry, just moving crazy. Speaking of Breonna Taylor, detective pleads to conspiracy in the Breonna Taylor case. Kelly Gadet to plead guilty to falsifying affidavit in search warrant. A former detective accused of falsifying the affidavit used to obtain a search warrant of Breonna Taylor's Louisville. Sorry, Dina. Don't want to missay the city name, but Louisville apartment would plead guilty later this month, according to multiple reports. The former detective Kelly Goodlett was arrested along with 3 other officers in connection with the botched raid that resulted in Breonna Taylor's murder in 2020. In 2 separate federal indictments, Goodlett and Joshua James, Brett Hankinson, who is one of the names that we hear often, and Sergeant Kyle Meany were charged with civil rights and obstruction offenses, as well as unlawful conspiracies and unconstitutional use of force. During a virtual court appearance on Friday, Goodlett, and this wasn't last Friday, but Goodlett, her attorney, and a Justice Department attorney confirmed she will enter a guilty plea for 1 count of conspiring to violate the civil rights of Taylor, according to NBC News and the Washington Post. The guilty plea of Goodlett, who resigned after being charged, would mark the first conviction in connection with Taylor's death. So in both of these cases, we see forward movement. Breonna Taylor is somebody that we had to fight for as well.
Jesus.
And I will say, especially because she is a Black woman, and a lot of these murders where they're murdering Black people, when we hear about it being a woman, it definitely, like, we know that for a man, it may get to a certain level, like televised, hashtagged, or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But we had to fight for it to even get there because they wanted to bury that Black man's name like nobody's business. As a Black woman, I promise you, if we didn't push for Breonna Taylor, we would have never heard about her.
Right.
We would have, just like we heard about Sandra Bland and it just disappeared. There are other Black women that have been gunned down by police officers and started to gain momentum in their story, and it just disappears. So I'm glad in this time, while we were talking about George Floyd and while we will continue to keep Ahmaud Arbery's name in the media, we were able to put a light on Breonna Taylor. So much so, even Oprah, it was painted on the ground in different cities. We were saying her name because her case was very particular. And the way those police officers wanted to make it seem like she was in the wrong. The no knock warrant, we started to look at that and uncover it differently, because that was what due process, right? And
Right.
we can't, just because they said it's not right. Somebody lost their life. Somebody lost their life. And here we are, and we're discussing these things. And Breonna Taylor just, we apologize because her walls got justice before she did. Those bullet holes in her walls got justice before she did. We said her name, so that wasn't the problem. They just chose to ignore. And so now we're looking at some forward movement. Okay, this will be the first conviction in her case with Goodlett, and so Officer Goodlett. So we'll start to monitor and see what else can come of this. She deserves her justice. I don't care how long. Since it's been 2 years, right? We're at 2 years, and I hope that she gets justice. Accountability is one thing, and I remember there was a day that we shouted about accountability as something as forward movement. Convictions is another. Putting them behind bars is another thing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that there was, and I think there's been more developments as well too on this as well since last week. So I'm glad that there is a lot of movement, and these are federal charges. So that means Daniel Cameron punk ass can't do anything about it. Which, speaking of which, last week I think on the 15th he got booed at a rally so bad, and it was just the funniest and best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Who was it?
Daniel Cameron.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that was the worst representation of that around that time. People were pulling up to his house, and he's over here. It was just, I never heard so. My friend is from Kentucky. I ain't never heard so much about Kentucky in a negative manner
Oh my
until
gosh.
2020.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I never heard about it until 2020, and I'm like, yikes. And my girlfriend was like, yeah, that's how it be over here, girl. I'm like, dang, I wouldn't even know. Yeah, I wouldn't even know. But at the same time, there's a lot of great things that are happening in the city that you wouldn't even know either. But the representation there, as far as the head, your state representatives there are trash. Mitch McConnell, right?
Oh gosh,
And
I forgot that that's his.
These are the representations out of that area, and it sucks because they ain't doing nothing for real.
At all, right?
Yeah. So, hold on.
Yeah, I'm glad it's just like I said. I'm glad it's forward movement, and yeah, and get everything done. I just hope that this leads further. But I know they're gonna try to stop everything. But no, y'all ain't gonna stop this one.
Yeah, no.
Definitely gonna keep going.
Yeah. Now on to I'm trying to see which one I want to jump to because I don't like the way the stories are placed. But there's a one for the Arkansas cops, right? And this happened just I believe it was Sunday. Yeah, so it happened on this Sunday that just passed, you guys. We have a video that I did drop in the chat. Josh, let me know if we can grab that video. And before we play the video, while Josh grabs it, I'll go ahead and read the story to you guys.
Yeah.
It is in our text message thread from yesterday evening. So there's 3 Arkansas law enforcement officers. They have been removed, from duty, and they're facing state and federal investigations. This was confirmed on Monday for violently beating a man that they had in custody and attempting to use a squad car to hide the assault. Bystander video captured at least 2 of them punching and kneeing a suspect during an arrest at a convenience store in Mulberry, Arkansas, while a squad car obscured the view from multiple angles, except for the angle the person was recording. At one point in the 34-second video recorded just this past Sunday, one of the officers also appears to lift the suspect's head and slam it into the pavement. The law enforcement officers were unaware they were being recorded until bystanders spoke up. A Crawford County Sheriff's Department Facebook post identifies the law enforcement personnel involved in the arrest as sheriff's deputies Zach King and Levi White and Officer Thel Riddle of the Mulberry Police Department.
Pause. Them sounds like the most racist names I have ever heard. Okay, I'm sorry. I just get that out. When I saw the name, what? Okay, I'm sorry about
that. And here is the video before we press play and I update you with the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Viewer discretion is advised, as this is particularly disturbing, and I'll say why.
Trigger warning.
This is a trigger warning of the excessive force that is used in this video. Take a look.
Officers in Arkansas violently beating a suspect. The man has been identified as Randall Worcester, 27, of South Carolina. He was taken to the hospital, then discharged to jail. He's charged with trespassing, among other crimes. The Arkansas State Police have launched an investigation into improper use of force. All 3 officers have been suspended pending the results of the investigation.
That is a lot for me to watch in itself. I have not been able to stomach those type of videos, but I wanted you guys to see, because a lot of the reporting, and we talked about this on the show, a lot of the reporting that is done, even though what we're looking at is on video, right? It was one thing when it was something that we read or something that wasn't confirmed yet. I feel like video is confirmed. Yeah. Video is confirmed. So a lot of the reporting is saying allegedly. I am watching 3 officers take part in excessive force to subdue someone. They said that he did trespass into a store. He was bothering some people. He walked out. The officers met up with him. And this is what it looks like to subdue someone. In that moment, I don't think it took for his head to be slammed. I don't think it took for his legs to be kicked. I just think all he needed was some handcuffs and put his behind in the back of the car.
That was it. It was very much unnecessary. I mean, this kind of thing, it makes absolutely no sense that you have to treat somebody like that. It's one thing when they already on the ground, you have to use some force to get someone on the ground and handcuff them. But y'all were literally sitting there beating this man's ass. There's no other way to say it. Just so literally, y'all was there beating his ass.
And this is where I would say what we see when people play cop, like what we saw in the Ahmaud Arbery case. They literally play cop, excessive force. They want just wannabes. And then we see people who are cops, they treat people as if they're in some kind of video games. If they feel any disrespect in any way, shape, or form, they are going to show you a lesson. We've seen too many videos just in the past few weeks I've seen of APD, who are Black officers, white officers, who feel if they are being challenged, how they need to now trip you, flip you onto the floor, put you in handcuffs because you challenged them and said, why am I being arrested? In this case, if the suspect was in wrongdoing, they already had him subdued. Where in that time did they not could have took out their handcuffs and put them on the suspect? Why did they require his head to be slammed into the floor? Maybe he was talking mess, but you're an officer. Your job was to subdue this person. But for some reason, officers feel like they are above everything. They are Jesus Juniors.
Right.
They are just the top of the crop. They are bigger than just life itself. Once they put that badge on after 2 weeks of training, it's like, I run your city. I got the guns. you be afraid of me. This is exactly what we see here. So, more news is that the deputies are not rookies and have been in law enforcement for some time, while the Mulberry officer has been in policing for many years and previously worked for the sheriff's department. Crawford County Sheriff Jimmy DeMonte told reporters Monday they are suspended with pay, right? I last read that they were suspended, yes, with pay, and the other one is on administrative leave. The one that was holding them down that you didn't see doing anything in the video, holding him down still was something because you was watching. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Arkansas confirmed a federal civil rights investigation to the incident had been opened. The FBI Little Rock office, FBI office, and the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division are also investigating, according to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office. The video, which was posted to social media, what we see shows the officers restraining the individual identified as Randall Worcester, who was only 27. Could have lost his life right in that moment of Goose Creek, South Carolina, near a curb outside a business. One of the officer throws Bubba, your camera. One of the officers throws punches at the person's face and slams his head into the ground. We saw a knee as well to the back, and we know what that can do to someone, as we saw with George Floyd. So the woman who wasn't seen on the video can be heard screaming, "Don't beat him. He needs his medicine." While another officer responded to that person, back the F up, and ordered her to get into her car. So the fact that they tried to obstruct the view of the cameras in the car. That is a conversation in itself. These officers, we are catching them on camera. They're finding ways to obstruct the view. They're turning off their cameras. They're whispering to their partners on what they're going to do or what they're not going to do. They're finding their stories to align by hitting up their fellow officers to let them know, hey, I just beat this person's behind, or I just killed this person. How are we going to walk through this? I turned my camera off at 5:24. Can we make up something? They're planting drugs in the vehicles on the car. They're lying on the reports. And y'all don't know why we screaming out. Defund the police.
Hello.
Abolish the police. Because they are not trying to protect and serve us. If this was indeed a mental health breakdown, why are these the people being dispatched as unprofessionals? They're not professionals or experts in this space or place. Where is the person that is there and able to help the person who's going through the mental health breakdown? Where is that person? I don't like to see anybody. If the officers needed to, was this person running? Was this person armed? Was it for, at the end of the day, the officers subdued that person, all three of them, and this person could have lost their life. And the officers seem to be working off emotion.
And that's exactly what it is. And especially because they were doing that, they were thinking that nobody was watching them. So when that lady called out, they popped up, because you see it on the video. When the lady calls out, they are surprised as hell, and that's when they started easing up some. But it's just like, I'm glad y'all suckers got caught, man, because people have to realize and see this stuff and see that it yes, it happens to black men a lot, black people in general a lot, but y'all think that it can't happen to our Caucasian brothers and sisters, and it can.
It's happening to everybody.
Everybody.
It happens that, yes, it's a disproportionate amount when it comes to black people. And then there's, brown people, and then, yes, levels to it, but you can get it too.
You can all of it.
police officers are not for the people. They're not trained to be for the people. Now, that's not all police officers, but what we see as a trend amongst the police officers, people who are supposed to serve and protect in these spaces, even when it comes to like sheriffs and the FBI. We see that. We already hear who's screaming out defund FBI, the Trump folks and stuff all of a sudden. Now they understand and they're hearing and they're like, oh, now defund and abolish all kinds of stuff. But I say that to say, anybody in these areas of work, we've seen time and time again, and they could be Black people, but once you put on that outfit, that uniform, I don't know. It's just like, shoot first. Think about it later. This person called me out of my name. This person tried to challenge me. We see many times where people of color Black people aren't challenging officers, and they're still they still get shot down. I've seen where white people are challenging officers, and there may be an opportunity and a chance for them to walk away. So I say all this to say, regardless of the fact of how disproportionate the numbers are, who gets it the most, everybody needs to be safe.
Yeah.
We got to do better. If we're going to need police presence, we need to start talking about retraining. We need to start doing background checks. One incident that was considered an excessive use of force, get them the hell out of here. These are red flags. These are people who are problematic, and we'll start playing whatever that game is with all the shooting that people do. We'll start acting like they're living that out in reality when they put on their uniform.
Cops and robbers,
whatever it is. But this is what we see. We don't see help. This video ended with him still breathing. George Floyd didn't get up. Okay? Eric Garner didn't get up. There's so many people just get upset because you were challenged by the police officer or the police officer was upset. I remember I tell you the story often. I remember being in New York City with my partner at the time, and police officers just were walking by and were upset that we were going to the car. And yeah, we were going to the car. And when we got to the car, they were like, "What are you doing parked here?" And he was like, "Excuse me." They heard his accent and were upset. And they were like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, he looked at them like, "Does it matter where I'm from?" And they looked at me and they're like, "You know what? You getting smart with me, boy? You getting smart with me?"
Wow.
Black officers in New York City dragged him out of the car. And this is before Eric Adams, child. Dragged my partner at the time out of the car. And I said, "What are you guys doing?" This is before I even, knew about how to be with officers. I'm like, "What are you guys doing? Stop." They're like, "Walk away, ma'am. Walk away." I'm like, "Why would I walk away when I can't? Y'all found me with my partner. I'm not walking away anywhere. I'm not going anywhere." They looked at me and they're like, "You better walk away." They're trying to hold him. And he's like, "I didn't do anything." And they were like, "You lucky I'm in a good mood," and let him go. Yeah.
Rebecca, it used to be a thing that New York cops were like the worst cops.
Oh gosh.
Freaking ever. It's just like, even growing up, when I was coming up, that was always the rhetoric that New York cops were dirty. They just do shitty stuff to people for no reason.
Yeah.
And that's true. It's really true.
Yeah. And I dated my first few, because I dated so many people. My first few weeks in New York, I did date a cop, and he told me about a lot of the things that NYPD was doing. Yeah, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "One of the cops own a condo down the street where he deals drugs."
Wow.
Yeah. It was, it was crazy. It was crazy. But and that was like my first few weeks in New York, just in the streets. But yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, cops, and this is before, like I said, I knew that cops, at the time I don't even think we had we had the Black Lives Matter hashtag, and it just started getting somewhere. It was early on. It was a 2012 Trayvon Martin around that time. Yeah. And I just moved to New York. So those things were still, that's what we had at the time. But I did not understand like the whole thing with cops yet. But I knew they weren't the best. I didn't like them. But seeing them and having those run-ins with them, it's just like, no. Defund the police and stop fighting us when we say that. I know that Stacey Abrams, who's here running for governor, she stated we must basically hold cops accountable. And this, I'm not stating her quote verbatim, but we need the cops, but we also need to hold them accountable.
Right.
So I will. I don't know if I could say agree with that statement, but I'll take it. I'll take that. We got to hold them accountable. I don't know if we need them because they're killing more than they're saving lives. So if we can just figure out how to retrain them, get them focused on what their job really is to do, start putting down some ground rules, like one offense that's major where it shows that you are racist, where you're using just so much force on people, where somebody almost died, where you lied on anything, you can never get back on the force again.
Yeah. And it also needs to be one of those things where the officers that are hired need to be from that community that they're working in. I think a lot of times that's one of the main issues as well, too, is that you put these cops that's not from this community in communities that they had never been to, or they feel that it's just a high Black presence. So they think they can do whatever the hell they want to and get away with.
Yeah. And de-escalation teams.
Yes.
If you are not an expert in de-escalating, call the experts. Because if you're mad that somebody's having a mental breakdown and talking to you crazy, and now you're like, what are you doing? Like the woman who fell out of the vehicle and they tried to cover it up right here in Georgia not too long ago. We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
You guys were upset at probably how she entered the door in her own house. Didn't do your job. She ends up falling out of the vehicle and dying from a wellness check that you guys are supposed to do. And your department wanted to cover it up, saying that she kicked the door down. In reality, y'all failed to unlock. Y'all failed to lock the door, close it properly.
Yeah.
We're losing so many lives over cops not doing their jobs, working over emotions, feeling like they've been challenged, not trained enough, racism. We're losing too many people. People are not being saved. Oh,
and then of course to another thing that would help the situation as well too, stricter gun laws for the public. That way then it goes hand in hand.
I agree with that.
Defund them damn police, stricter gun laws for everybody out here carrying AR-15s and all kind of weapons that they don't need, and stop allowing these homemade guns to be purchased or made online. Stop selling those kits. Why is that a legal thing?
I don't. It's it's too. It's. I read this NDRE, whom we talked about on the show too. She posted yesterday, and I think I talk about this maybe like once or twice, or every 2 months, every 2 weeks, depending on how I'm feeling emotionally and mentally. Where we are in the world is, I feel like we're screaming to the sky. Changes are happening, but it's almost like we may not see it in our lifetime for everything that we're doing, for the seeds that we're planting. But she said, the world. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know who is calling me. My therapist. My therapist is calling me. But she said the world is in a place where we are trying to fight for society, but it's normalized just to go with what's happening. A circle of pain, constant stress, constant fear. And it's normalized. And we're coming to a place it's almost like we can't afford to live, but we're going to struggle and fight for our life at the same time. And this can't be normal, but we're normalizing things that shouldn't be normal. Officers killing people, and we're fighting against it, but it's normalized. It's almost like wash, rinse, and repeat.
Absolutely.
We're not seeing the change before our eyes, but it's like making front page news as a conversation, and then it won't be there anymore. It's popularized because now we're seeing a lot of our movements that we would just really go and fight for are becoming something that people are capitalizing off of in the social media spaces. I never seen so many photo ops just to say that you were at the movement ever in my life. It's sad. You don't really know where your place is in the fight anymore, and it's breaking us down. We fight for safety, and they're telling us we're going to put more police presence. We fight for housing, and they're telling us they're going to allow landlords to up the rent. We fight for justice for people that were caught on camera when we were fighting for justice before, when we didn't have any evidence, but people seen it but couldn't verify to police officers who could just get away with things. Now we're seeing things. The thing that we got is the evidence, and we're still using the word allegedly, even though we're watching the thing play out. And excuses are being made right in front of our face. Our fight is a joke, something that they capitalize on. Activists are turning because of money. Platforms are being shadow banned because of the content and the color of the skin of the people that are doing it. This fight is not for the weak. But I'll tell you this, it's okay to feel weak sometimes during the fight.
Amen.
It really is.
She got to keep on fighting the good fight, though.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this. India said she just, remember what I say all the time, a lot of our biggest people who have been doing this at the beginning of time, even they grow tired and weary.
Yeah.
And they end up moving somewhere else to go live out the rest of their lives so that they can feel some form of peace in their lives. And so she talked about wanting to move somewhere else just for peace, so that she doesn't have to always feel like she needs to fight every single day, because that's what she's been doing. We know that since the beginning of time, she's been fighting for social justice and racial justice and, women's rights since the beginning when it wasn't popular. She's been doing this. And I mean, she's tired. And I'll say to you, it is a tiring thing to constantly have to talk about it.
If y'all only knew.
Mentally, like, it's crazy. But we're here. We are here. I don't mean to make it such a somber thing, but I'm saying, like, man, we've been talking about police today. My camera.
Wow, that hasn't been a long time.
We've been talking about police presence being like this. We've been talking about school shootings. We've been talking about a lot of these things, and it almost seems to continuously happen because when we're fighting about it, when we're screaming about it, what they do is the reverse. We say, hey, gun control. They say, hey, arm the teachers. Give the kids bulletproof backpacks.
And that's crazy.
They say there's not enough proof, right? This is what we get. This is what it is. This is how, and it's so sad. And now I just think, how long are we going to keep fighting? Damn. How long, Bubba? Anywho, we are at the end of the show. It is 10:23. It isn't 10:30 yet, but it is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. I hope. Thank you, Latif, for already sending over the tacos.
Right. Shout out to Latif.
I'm about to go get some tacos. I sure am. I'm gonna go eat some tacos. Yeah, no, I'm going to get some tacos. Like I said, the start of the morning I didn't get the best news this morning, so I am going to go and treat myself to something good. If you guys are watching, listen, I thank you. Patreon.com/like it or not. I thank you guys for rocking with us, giving on the platform YouTube. Giving on the platform YouTube doesn't come directly to us instantly. We have to wait over a month to receive it. But those of you who have been giving that way for the super chats, thank you. I would say to give to the us directly on our Cash Apps at DJX3C and Becca's Voice on Cash App. Thank you guys thus far for assisting. It really, really helps, guys. I'm telling you, every dollar helps. For everybody watching right now, if you want to contribute $1, that would be great. Again, every dollar, $2, 50 cents, it definitely assists us in moving and continuing to move forward. I love that picture of me. And I love you guys so much. Shouts out to Letter Hack. Shouts out to Georgia Fort. Shouts out to Dr. Carl Mack. Shouts out to the whole family that's constantly coming onto the show.
You can't forget about Dwayne. You can't just call out everybody and not skip Dwayne and David.
You know what's so crazy? I thought about Dwayne this morning. I sat on my bed during prayer, and I was like, dang, I really, really miss the family, and I hope that we can
for real
get back together and do this thing like we were doing. The fight is crazy. The fight is overwhelming. Then we grow weary and we grow weak. I'm tired of doing things that don't kill me but make me stronger, but it's better if we do it as a family. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys on tomorrow. Bubba, give the people some affirmation, baby.
Affirmation for the day. I realize how blessed I am, and it makes me happy. I realize how blessed I am, and it makes me happy. Go be great, y'all.
Love you guys. Mean it.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much again for tuning in this morning. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Definitely want to make sure that you tune in tomorrow. Don't want to miss the show. This is always going to be a good one. As usual, make sure that you be good to yourself and others. Love y'all. Mean it. We will see y'all in the morning.
Just spill from my lips, feel big from the bip. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. Sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love. That's just how I'm made.
Truth in the glass in the mirror. Do it at me, old man, trying to pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that. And he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash. Got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young, to me reckless. Gold in my soul, got the same on the necklace.